Hey everybody, it's Glenn back with another Clash Royale analysis video. Let's take a look at another game from the grand finals of the AMG Cup featuring Jupiter King and Samuel Bassoto. Both players enter it at 2-2. They fought all the way to the finish, and here we go. It ended up being a Lumberloon versus Graveyard Poison, Splash Shard, if you want to call it that, type of deck. But it was really fascinating how this one went, because Game 5, everything's on the line. You would think it's slow play, one mistake does it. Nobody wants to make that mistake, so you play very, very cautiously. And I thought that was the case, but here we go with them with recruits, and they get in front of the Musketeer, which is very key. And given the situation, I would have thought that Samuel would have split it 3-3, but he decides to go 2-4 with strong side having the more of the recruits. They line up with the Musketeer, which is very ideal because all it takes is one of them to get in front of the Musketeer, and this Inferno Dragon is going to be distracted, and Musketeer will be safe. Think of it kind of like pawns in chess. The pawns would be blocking all of the, or creating the fortress for all of the other pieces. I thought Valkyrie was going to absolutely wreck all those recruits, but the Fisherman got played right here and does his job, and now it's just a matter of how long this Musketeer can stay alive, which is not long because of that baby dragon. But those recruits are doing some really good damage. It was only the Ice Wizard that was really stopping from doing something that was far worse. So a really good start for Sam here. And he's going to let this damage go on the tower, which is fine. We see Lumberjack come in. And like I said, this is a Lumberloon. So here comes the balloon. And minions, which I thought was interesting because the Lumberjack was always going to be in front of the minions. Maybe he thought that Jupiter King had a Tesla or Inferno Tower, but given that it's a Splash Shard or Graveyard Poison, I wouldn't have thought to put that type of building inside of inside of this deck. It usually is something like a cage or a tombstone or something that will spawn troops, once it breaks, but not a Tesla or a Inferno Tower. So I thought that was interesting. And the minions are gone now because of the poison damage. So the balloon gets through. Let me just rewind that a little bit. So the balloon gets through. And Jupiter King tried to time the tornado and just couldn't get it, and the tower is down. So that was really, really unfortunate right here. He just couldn't get it to the King Tower, and that was it. So already the whole philosophy of this game changed because Samuel is now up a tower with 1:30 left. He can dictate where everybody goes from here, and Jupiter King is pretty much going to have to pick a side and say, okay, I'm all in on it, and we're just going to have to get a tower and then hope that whatever happens to the other towers is not too bad so that we can get back into the game. Just won $1,000. But I can only imagine what both players were thinking in this situation here, where Samuel got the tower this early in the game, and Jupiter King is thinking, okay, what do I do now? So he's going to go with the side that he's been on right here with the Inferno Dragon, and Samuel is going to answer it. So here comes Graveyard. This was, I thought, a really interesting decision by Samuel here. He plays the recruits up. Now, I don't know if it meant that the idea was to take care of this Valkyrie as fast as possible, and then this Musketeer was going to answer to all of the skeletons back here. The one thing I was thinking of is, okay, if you have recruits, flood the recruits where the graveyard is, so you have 4 over here, and then they just handle all the skeletons that come out. Even if poison comes out, which is very unlikely, given that you have Plague Valkyrie right here, they're still going to be fine. They should still have these 4 recruits, if they were played down here, would still be fine to deal with all the poison. They would still be around. I don't think they would be taken up by the skeletons that would come off on the board. So that was a really interesting play by Samuel. Maybe he was thinking to push from here, and that these skeletons weren't going to do much as long as Musketeer turned around. But he plays Fisherman. It was just a really interesting play. Now poison comes down to finish off the Musketeer, and Inferno Dragon gets nowhere near the Princess Tower. That snowball comes in, and that's likely to just cycle through, because here we go. We have Musketeer immediately back on the board. Ice Wiz, and you can probably expect another graveyard coming in, which is right now. Again, the recruits are played up front instead of played back. I think this time the recruits playing up front was the ideal play, because you just have a baby dragon right at the river. You have Ice Wiz, and you have a Valkyrie, I believe, that just got played, if I saw that correctly. Yep, you have a Valkyrie that was played. So get everybody up on the board right at the river and just have them brawl it out right there. And then you have Lumberjack. If Lumberjack doesn't make it, he'll be taking care of the skeletons that are played right here, like we see here. Yep. And then you have minions, and the minions will be wiped out by the poison, but that's okay, because you still have Lumberjack that is dealing with that. So that ended up being, I believe, the last great chance by Jupiter King. This was a really fascinating series. I would definitely recommend to go back and watch the whole thing. I'll put the game or the link to the video in the notes here. But congrats to Samuel Bassoto on winning the AMG Cup. Just a really fascinating series. It's different from a lot of the other games, because we have like these crazy finishes at the end, but it was decided within the first minute and a half that a person got a tower, and then the whole game shifted from there. So again, congrats to Samuel Bassoto for winning the AMG Cup. I'm going to end the video right here. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and all those buttons below, and I'll see you in the next video.